Hi gang, it's January 25th, 2019. I'm at the 5th climate change rally in Gettysburg, PA. It's extremely noisy, as you can tell. Presently, the CO2 this week got up to 413.93 parts per million. Means nothing to most people. However, it is a new record set for the world, and we still have 3 months to go until we hit the maximum. So it could easily go through 415, 416. Basically, the sea levels are somewhere around 130 feet behind of where they eventually will be. We already locked that in. It's extremely dangerous situation we're in right now. Sea levels will last your worries though. The main thing is Greenland's melting, even in the winter. The ice sheets are, and the methane's being vented into the atmosphere, and that's one of the biggest planet-killing gases out there, dropping things everywhere. So with the locking into the sea level rise and the venting of methane, we've got a real problem developing. You have people in the government who are absolutely not participating in the climate change. Your media is not participating. They don't report on the fact that they had a COP24 conference, the 24th one, that was in Poland a month and a half ago. There's not one blip in the media about that. Presently, we are addicted to fossil fuels, as you know, we all are. All I can ask is that everyone, when you buy your next car, is probably to buy a car that's more fuel efficient, if not electric, but that's hard to do because America doesn't make electric cars. So right now in Gettysburg, PA, it's 34 degrees. It doesn't seem cold, but it is. The wind's blowing pretty bad. Glaciers are melting in the Himalayas as well. This summer should be a telling card. 3.5 billion people in Asia depend on the glaciers, the meltwater there. So what will happen is you'll get rain, but then it'll run off real quick, and then there won't be consistent water for the people in Asia. Heat in the oceans heat up, are absorbing 93% of all of the heat in the atmosphere. Right now, if the oceans weren't here, our planet would be 97 degrees hotter. 97 degrees hotter than what it is. So thank God for the oceans. Australia this week experienced temperatures of 104 to 118 degrees. You don't hear that in the U.S. media at all, let alone any other media for the most part. The scary part about that is it's not limited to just Australia. The Great Barrier Reef is just off the coast, and as the oceans heat up, corals love water that's about 64 degrees. And obviously it's going to be absorbing heat from Australia and the surrounding area, and it's entirely possible that the Great Barrier Reef could die this year. Right now, we experienced migrations coming up from Mexico and Guatemala, but no one discussed why we're having those migrations. And essentially what happened in Guatemala and Nicaragua and all was that farmers were starving to death. So they had to come up to the United States or wherever else to escape starvation, saving their kids' lives. Anyone would do that. So we think we're seeing migrations now. The world hasn't seen anything yet, and that's the hardcore, the right wing erupting throughout the world, for better or worse. You know, they're trying to protect their own, which is understandable, but we do have a responsibility for our desires and wants, such as all these cars in town and everything. We want to go places, we want to do things, which requires oil right now. So basically the whole Midwest could be turned into a wind farm, let alone a solar farm, and it would be enough to supply enough electricity to the whole country. Any area could do that. Saudi Arabia could just forget about oil and turn themselves into strictly a solar producing area. So we need some sort of action going on there. You know, in my mind, if leaders aren't on board with climate change and what we need to do, they need to be removed through voting, which we don't have a lot of time to be doing that. Literally, we're in a life-threatening situation. We have approximately, well, this summer it's entirely possible the Arctic could go blue as far as the ocean. So at that point, the temperatures will start spiraling out of control, and also it'll be fairly impossible to grow food. So that's why I have my placard today is about farmers. Got climate change, and then you can ask your farmer how they're doing as far as climate change goes. It's been doing nothing but raining here and precipitation every third or fifth day since July. And the fields are totally soaked, and when spring comes along, I doubt that farmers will be able to get in the fields to plant. So you can do little parts on your own too, like my wife and I dug up our whole front yard and backyard, and we have nothing but plants and trees growing there. That's one option. The idea of mowing your lawn every week is absolutely ridiculous. You're paying also people to come in to fertilize the lawn that you don't use because now you got poison in the front yard. So you're better off letting nature take its course, or planting plants so you don't have to mow. Last year I was speaking with the wife, and I think I mowed 5 times last year, and it probably added up to less than 20 minutes total over the whole time. So that's one thing. Your lawnmowers pollute. There's so many little things we could do, but the main thing is to get your government involved. They are hell-bent on killing us for whatever reason, whether they're on the take from the fossil fuel industry or whatever. The Green Congress that's come in is a nice idea, but they're saying they're going to take 15 months to analyze what the problem is and then go forward from there. Well, we don't have 15 months. This summer will be a telling card for everyone, 2019. So you need to get out, you need to protest, you need to vent your feelings, you need to talk to each other, you need to quit being so succumb to peer pressure. There should be hundreds of people out here in the square with me right now, and I'm the only one. This is the 5th time I've been out. My wife comes out once in a while when she can. Of course, she has to work as well. So everyone has to work, but you can't work if you're dead. And that's what we're heading for right now. We're on a path to hell. And I wish people would get on board. In Europe right now, there are 35,000 Belgian kids that turned out for climate change protests yesterday. 35,000. In the United States, I think it's 0, probably, between college and high school kids. Adults aren't getting it, college kids aren't getting it, high school kids aren't getting it. Literally, CBS came out with a report that said by 2048, the oceans will be dead. Like, no life in the oceans at all. 2048. So if you have a child who's 10 years old, do the math, they'll be 40 years old when the oceans are dead. You will not be alive by then. They will not be alive if that's the situation, because it's not just the oceans are dead. It's an indication that something else has gone seriously wrong. So do your best. Get active. You have to get active. This is not going to fly right now. We're on the path to hell, and we all need to work together and get out there, protest. Let your politicians know you're not going to take it anymore. And you need to talk to the media and give them a raft of crap as well, because they are absolutely not covering anything in this country. It's really, really sad. It's criminal. There's so many adjectives you could use about it. So look in the mirror, ask yourself if you're doing everything that you can do for the next 7 generations, and including me, most likely not. We're not doing everything we can, and we need to. All right, that's enough of the lecture today. Hopefully I'll have more information tomorrow. Right now I'm freezing to death though. All right, so I'll be out in the square at Gettysburg, PA from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock unless I turn into a popsicle or I get chased away by the police. See you later.